Welcome to the first episode of Pimp My Farm Vehicle. Welcome to the first episode of Pimp My Farm Ride. There's my first Pimp My Farm Vehicle, Pimp My Farm Equipment, Pimp My Farm UTV. I'm so happy. This is so much fun. You a dummy like me, and okay, so what are we doing today? Kind of a different video for us, really. But I did tell you in the very first video, if you did watch that, that video is linked in the description, that we were going to do equipment reviews and all that kind of stuff. So today is numero uno. So I apologize if this is terrible, but I think we can fumble our way through it. So the first thing we're doing is this Polaris Ranger you see behind me. It is a 2018 570 full size, just kind of a basic model, no power steering, none of that, but we've already put some accessories on it. Let's go through that real quick and then I'll tell you what we're doing today. So the first accessories we put on it, the very first one was this roof. My father-in-law helped me do that. I pretty much bought the roof with the Ranger because I know how important those things are. Like I said, we bought the basic model, so it came just kind of bare bones. The next thing we bought was this windshield. Haven't been super impressed with it. As you can see, the rubber has brakes. It basically wraps around the tube here and fastens like that. But it has broken in several different places. However, the company did send me new rubber straps. I just was getting the most use out of this before I put them on. As you can see, we achieved that. The next accessories you've probably already noticed and seen is these LED lights. We got LED lights in the front and we got LED lights in the back. My dad helped me install those, and when I say helped me install those, my dad installed those. One visit that he came to Oklahoma and was bored, he went into the garage and hooked me up with these. And these things are awesome. They are super, super, super bright, but they will also super, super, super drain your battery. I bought some rocker switches for those lights, and he installed them to that as well. So there they are. As you can see, they're lit up real big. So what are we doing today? What are we installing today? Today we are installing this right here. This SuperATV 3500 Black Ops series winch. We actually already started this install. Everything electrically is done. All we have to do is make connections at the winch. All the other connections are made, and I'll go through those real briefly. We kind of did it a little bit different than probably most people do it, and so I'll show you what we did and do what was best for our situation. So let me flip the camera around and we'll get to that. Okay, so as you can see, these two lines right here power the actual winch unit itself. It's running down through underneath into the cab. There's actually a module that they want you to mount like right in here, and we didn't really like that, so we took that module and mounted it right here on the back. And as you can see, here's your power to the winch, and it's running through the floor. We took the floorboard off. I took the dash pins out. That's just sitting in there. It's not secured. We originally took the bumper off. We took the plastic inserts that go to the bumper right there. We took those off and we just kind of mocked things back up. And I'll get to that reason here in just a second, but let's finish electrically. So we took all the power to this module, and then from this module it goes out to our battery. We fastened these leads here. The reason why they're so long is because, like I said, they're meant to mount up there under the hood. Instead, we brought everything back to here. The last tricky thing was wiring the switch for all of this, and the only reason why it was tricky is because I bought an aftermarket toggle switch and it's lit. So we ended up having to rob power from one of these switches my dad installed in order to get it to light up, and we used the front LED light. And the reason why we did that is because the winch is mounted on the front, and if you need to see this at night, you're probably already going to have that on anyways, so it just made sense. You can hear this engage. So the solenoid's working on the module, everything's working, it's all tied in behind the back side of the switch here. My brother-in-law made some jumpers to make all that work. I wish I knew more about that stuff, but my dad knows quite a bit, and my father-in-law and my brother-in-law know quite a bit, so I had them help me with the electrical part on everything, and of course I can handle the mounting stuff. So anyways, it comes with this deal right here, which is going up to the unit itself as well. This is the constant power. That this yellow cord right here is what's running my switch. This cord right here is running all the way down through, and it's coming through right here, running up, and it's going to the switch as well. So that's it electronically. Really nothing complicated at all other than trying to make my aftermarket switch work. I wanted my switches to match the other switches, so that's the reason for that. So now the next step we need to do is take this bumper off that you see here. We've had it all off before. We had an issue with our mounting situation. They send this, make sure if you order this, these have machine specific mounting plates. However, they send a universal mounting plate. So if you see something that says includes mounting plate and you intend to put it on a UTV, call SuperATV and tell them which model you've got, and they'll send you, you have to buy it separately, the appropriate mounting plate, because the mounting plate that they send for this is meant for like an external mount or for like a trailer or something like that. So this is the mounting plate that they sent me. I had to have it overnighted because I really need to get this installed so I can use my machine again. As you can see, we use it pretty often here. It's filthy, and it's, you know, just a work machine, so I'm not going to take the time to really clean it. So anyways, so we got to get the bumper off in order to get the mount on. Once the mount is on, I can mount the winch to the mount, or I might mount the winch to the mount and then mount the mount to the mount. And yeah, so let's get this bumper off. I hope I don't cuss during this. I typically get pretty frustrated in doing piddly crap like this. So we're gonna keep it as G-rated as possible. So let me show you just real fast, just in case you're like, because unless you're like me and you're extremely ignorant to working on mechanically on working on stuff like this, as I told you in my log splitter video. Let me show you just real quick kind of the steps that I took. You saw the floorboard missing. Well, that's right here, and it's just fastened by these screws right there, and then the seat, and it's really just in. You slide these two clips in, and then there's two pressure points right here and there, and you feel like you're breaking it, but you literally just pry it up to get it out. So I know that's elementary and very ignorant for most of you, but it could be helpful to somebody. So I'm going to stop talking. Again, I'm going to say that. I'm going to stop talking and get to work. So the first step is removing our bumper. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean to bash anybody, or let me focus on me first. I don't mean to bash anybody or talk down about anything, because in the end, this will probably be a great product. But the installation instructions from SuperATV are so lacking, it's not even funny. I'm already frustrated. I've been frustrated, and I'm just not even installed the winch yet. The instructions are like one page without pictures, list by list by list, and it's about as vague as could possibly be. There's no material on their website. You go to the product on their website, it says DIY button, click here, and it's the instructions they sent with the box. So it's all really, really bad. So hopefully this video will actually help somebody, because I'm having to spend a lot of time in trying to figure stuff out, redoing stuff, and right now is a perfect example of that. So they sent me this mounting bracket with no instructions at all. This is the mounting plate you saw. It mounts to here and to here on each side. But as you can see, there are three options of where to put my bolts through and where to mount this thing through. So now I get to just pick one, which we're going to go with the middle, and I can only mock it, and then I've got to put the bumper back on to see if there's room for this thing to work. So just a lot of unnecessary plug and play for the DIY guy, for them to just take a few minutes or a few hours and go through and make a detailed video of how to install everything. I'm actually kind of shocked, as big of a company as they are, that they don't take the time to do that better. So if there was one thing so far that I had to gripe about, it would be that. So now I'm going to waste some time and figure out which way to go, and maybe we'll get lucky on the first shot here. Oh, fuck. Oh, that was stupid. Okay. What I need to do, I'm not ready to install this yet, but I need to get it on here so that I know exactly where to tighten my bolts down to whenever I am ready. Okay. 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 Oh, BKB. That looks good there. That's good right there. So right there is where this thing needs to torque down. Okay, don't move. Okay, so I've got it kind of mocked up. Nothing's tightened yet. The bolts aren't in this, but I'm going to have to leave this bumper on here to make sure that this bracket is right where it needs to be. And now I've got to tighten the bolts up on the bracket and the nuts. And then as you can see, my holes all align perfectly on the bracket as well. So, so this bracket looks like it's going to be just what we needed. It's going to work out great. I just need to get it all bolted up, and then I'll come back to you. You don't need to watch me put bolts on. Okay, so as you can see, we got the bracket on with that bolt right there. There are a couple more mounting bolts here in the front, that will be mounted to the bumper. But we are hooked up both there, and then the winch is sitting on the bracket, and it is done with 4 screws from the underneath side that direct bolt right in. Then we hooked up our power. Our blue is the negative, our yellow is the positive. And so now we are ready to mount our bumper. I'll mount our bumper real quick, and then I'll come back and show you all the connections there. Okay, now our bumper is back installed. So the next thing we're gonna do is mount the front side of the winch mount to the front of the bumper. What I mean by that is these holes right here, which we talked about earlier. I'm all bolted up. So let's do that now, if I can figure out what hardware goes where. Okay, so we just fastened it to the front with that bolt and that bolt. And there are 2 holes underneath it. I'm hoping, and maybe I just did all of that wrong. I probably did. I'm gonna probably have to take those back off. I probably need to put my plastic piece back up there and run the screws through that. So let me look into that, and I'll come back and tell you if I screwed up or not. Well, thanks to some awesome instructions, I get to now pull all of that back off and reconnect some parts that should have been done before I put it on. I'm so happy. This is so much fun. Okay, so now we have got the front end all put back together. As you can see, it's all nice and pretty. The plastic pieces are where they're supposed to go. The fair lead's on. Got our hook on with our hand rope, hand pull. Everything's done on the front end. The only thing I have left to do is put back together the interior and the dash, put together the remote, and then test it all out. So I'm gonna get after that, and then I'll come and show you how it all works at the end. Okay, real quick, I wanted to show you again electrically just how I kind of zip tied everything off, zip tied it together so it stays neat. Hung everything, zip tied out of the way, clipped all the corners. Just trying to keep stuff off of, you know, that's the drivetrain. When 4-wheel drive's engaged, this thing's gonna spin. So just trying to keep stuff off of getting ruined under the mat. So that's it. So we're gonna put this mat on, these push pins in, this seat on, and then we're done. All right, and that is basically it. Let me show you everything real quick on the inside so you can see. Got it all put back together. Everything's good to go. One quick thing that we did, I was talking to you about the electrical. You still haven't probably really seen it, but right now the winch works operationally without doing anything. But if you want the lights to come on, it's switched with my front LED light, which is good because if you're like cleaning a deer or something, or whatever you're doing in the dark, and you need to actually be able to see what these buttons do, you're probably going to have that light on anyways. So that ended up working out all right. And then last but not least, here she be. Here's the winch, all said and done. We'll pull it in for you guys real quick. So there it is. There's my first Pimp My Farm vehicle, Pimp My Farm equipment, Pimp My Farm UTV video, which is just us throwing on that winch accessory. I plan on doing more to this, maybe wheels and tires, some accessorizing of the back area for storage, mirrors, things like that. So like I said, we'll be doing some more reviews on this and some more products and accessorizing and stuff like that. And then we got old Pistol, or this is actually Cowboy, sorry. We got old Cowboy here, and then we still owe you reviews on old Pete and Pistol back there. So overall, I think the winch is gonna be fine. It's gonna serve its purpose. It's gonna do what we need it to do. But I will just go ahead and say, like, I am really disappointed with the install stuff. I've still got to kind of troubleshoot how to even make the remote work from the, the wireless remote. The whole thing is just kind of, I'm sure it'll work. I'm not going to be using it every day. It'll be every so often, and whenever I need it, I'll need it, and I'm sure it'll work then. But from an overall installation and just maybe quality from what I've seen putting this thing together, it's pretty bad. So I don't know that I would recommend the Black Ops winch to anybody, especially if you're going to be using it day in, day out. I might go with like a Warren or maybe some more name brand for that, but it was affordable, and I did get it installed. It just took a degree in like rocket science to figure it out in under an hour. Otherwise you're gonna be a dummy like me trying to figure it out in like 3 days. So, but we eventually got it on. If you're a mechanic, I really respect your job. There's no way that could be my job every single day. I absolutely hate every minute of having to work in a confined space, having to squeeze your fingers into something. Nothing just crawls through me more than having to do stuff like that. But we got through it. I didn't pay anybody to do it. We got it done thanks to help to my father-in-law and brother-in-law, and then me just putting it all together. So I don't know that I could say go buy one, but hey, at your own risk. So that's gonna be it for us. We'll see you next time when we maybe pimp another farm vehicle up on the ridge.